two-man power trip of wrestling. Your host, JP John Paz, with me today. Very special guest, former ECW superstar, Mr. Confederate Currency himself, Mr. Chris Hamrick. Welcome to Two-Man Power Trip. How you doing?
How are you? Watch that Confederate currency. Hey, can I cuss on here?
Sure, yeah.
Hey, yeah, fuck, watch that Confederate currency bullshit. I don't want to get hung or nothing. Fuck.
Right, right. That was a great gimmick, though. Great,
Well, the only
cool
reason I
thing.
did it, because we were sitting in ECW one day and Simon Diamond likes Hammer. You need a gimmick to where it says that you're from the South. And not only does ringside need to see it, but the bleachers need to see it. And I came up with the Confederate flag, but I put my name in place of the stars, and it worked
Yep.
out fine. So, it is what it is.
Hey, come on. It was a good gimmick at the time because you're with, hot commodity. You're with with the guys with Julio De Niro. You know what I mean? It makes sense.
Right.
So what are you up to today? What's going on in your world? Anything wrestling related you've been doing lately?
Yeah, I'm actually I do the booking for a group here in Rutherford, North Carolina called HWA, and part time wrestle. I wrestle like every 6 months or whatever. The last time the time before last year, I did a nice high moonsault
Wow.
just to see if I could still do it.
And how did it turn out?
I did it.
Nice. So wrestling though, or just booking? Like besides that, like are you wrestling for this organization or are you just booking?
Wrestle every now and then because if I wrestle every time they have a show, then I'm just one of the wrestlers. But I'd rather be like a special attraction, and I don't want to do this shit every weekend anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, definitely. So when you actually initially got started in the business, was it Ricky Morton? Like who trained you? Like how did you break in? How did you get in? Like who was your trainer?
I'm self trained. My dad bought me a ring when I was 10 years old for my 10th birthday, and I stayed in it from sun up to sundown. And luckily, I was good enough to where if I saw something done on TV, I could go in my ring and pretty much do it. And then later on, I met Ricky, and he taught me psychology, telling stories, less is more, the important shit that you need to learn when you're, you know, establish yourself.
When you're doing that, right, and you're self trained, you're literally just watching. Like what are you watching on TV? Like what are you kind of emulating?
Well, see, here's the thing. I was ahead of tape trading before it ever became a thing. I had a buddy of
Wow.
mine, and he got like Japan tapes, Mexico tapes, and like I would watch it, and I'd be like, if it caught my attention, I'm like, well, shit, there ain't nobody doing that over here. So I'll start doing it, and I could pretty much do whatever I wanted to do. I was lucky enough to be able to do whatever I wanted to. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So basically, you're self trained, right? I mean, you're doing it on your own, but you're pretty proficient. Like you said, you were like a savant, if you will. Like you're a natural. You could just pick up on it. So, some guys might not be able to, but you could kind of pick up on it.
Dude, I am such a worst example of a wrestler you've ever seen because my whole career, I've taught and been taught, don't ever try anything that you haven't tried before. And there's been 3 or 4 times that I've done it and it worked perfect. So, you know, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, that's not for everybody. I don't know if everybody be able to do that and pull that off.
Well, back when I was Stallion and George South in PWF, I was wrestling a guy named Dr. Feelgood. And he told me, he said, hey, man, Chris Jericho did a top rope Frankensteiner from the top rope last night. They was both standing. I went, oh, hell. I said, well, how'd he set it up? And he told me, I said, let's go out and try it. And we went out and tried it, and I've been doing it ever since. I've never seen it before in my life. But he told me what he done and how to set it up and went out and did it. And guys will realize that wrestling, if you get over the fear of something, the first time you do it, it's just like, shit, that's all there was to it. But just getting over that fear factor is the biggest part of it.
When you're thinking about that, right? Do you actually have to like practice at all? Like when you do, or
No,
you're
no,
just
I've
gonna.
never practiced. I've never practiced it. I never saw it. He just told me how we set it up. We went out and set it up, and I hit it.
Man, that's crazy. I don't know if a lot of guys would be able to pull that off without practicing it like a ton, like a bunch.
Yeah, I've been so blessed. It's not even funny.
Yeah, I feel like you always did some like crazy stuff, but even like remember that bump you used to take, which is funny that so many people always play the one with 1 2 3 kid, but like that
Oh my
bump you took
God,
through the ropes.
the Hamrick bump. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah,
call it the
exactly.
Hamrick
Yeah.
bump because I'm the only one dumb enough to take it. But I've never been hurt doing that bump.
How? How does that happen?
I don't know. The first time I messed it up and the whole place went silent, and I'm like moving my back. Oh shit, that didn't even hurt. I don't remember doing it the second time. I'm sure that was the scariest one. I remember, but then fuck on WWE, I'm doing it on SmackDown, I'm doing it on ECW, fucking knees, and I've never been hurt on it, and I don't know how.
Where did that bump come from? Like, how did you kind of think of that, or where does that like come from? Just pulling that bump off and even doing it
I
to begin with.
overshot. I used to do a thing where I'd sit on stage, hey, where'd I go? And do the, to the back, butt to the butt, back of the back. Fuck, I'll get it out in a minute. The butt to the bump back, to the back bump, whatever the fuck. And like one day I just overshot it and I went to the floor and hit it and it didn't hurt. And I went, huh, let's see what we got here. But I
When
mean,
that
dude, I've always done stupid shit. And how I walk is beyond me. I've just been so blessed with being able to take silly ass stupid bumps and not get hurt.
like when you actually like think about it, like doing that bump is like, oh, this guy's he had it broken back, or like, oh, he must be hurt or must be injured. And no, you're saying none of that. Like you're perfectly fine.
Now I meant to do. I saw a little bit, and Art called me over there, and he goes, "You meant to do that?" And yeah, he goes, "Unbelievable." Because that's the most obstacle: drop down, leapfrog, keep through the ropes.
Are you supposed to be like taking big bumps if you're like quote unquote like the enhancement guy or the guy that's coming in to do the job for the thing? Are you supposed to be taking crazy big bumps like that or no?
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm not too bright when it comes to shit like that.
But obviously Waltman was cool with it. He liked it. 1 2 3 kid.
Well, I'll tell you the story is that when I went through the ropes with the 1 2 3 kid, I looked and as I was going through, the cameraman was right there, and I'm like, "Fuck, I can't afford that camera." So I tried to redirect myself so I wouldn't hit the cameraman, and I missed the ropes and everything, but it still didn't hurt.
It just like I just thinking about it, it's like, man, this his career could be over. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those like bumps where it's like, holy hell, what a bump.
Well, I did the one in that I was standing on the apron and do a front flip to the floor.
Yep, another crazy one.
And so I had done that on the Indies, but I hadn't done it forever. And I was managing Easy Money and Julio one night against Danny Doran and Roadkill. And they didn't have any spots for me except for the last one. I was going to jump on the apron. Roadkill was going to hit me. And I'm like, well, I'm just standing out here being a fucking cheerleader and fuck this. So I'm looking at the apron. I went, oh, I think I can do it. So when Roadkill hit me, I did the flip to the floor and the fucking whole place just chanted ECW. And then we got in the back, and Danny Dorn's like, I dare you still to fucking match with that one bump. I went, well, give me something to do. I'm not a fucking cheerleader.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, man, he's like Gumby or something. You know what I mean? Like you can't break him. He's going to be able to take a bump and he's fine. He's okay.
And it's funny too, because like I have friends that have done nothing but regular wrestling matches, arm drags, hip tosses, drop kicks, body slams, back drops, all that bullshit. And they're like working on their third back surgery or their, you know what I'm saying? I've never had a
Yeah.
broken bone. I've never had stitches. I mean, I'm blessed.
Lucky, right? It's just to not
I've
have
never
any of those
considered
injuries.
myself a great worker by any means, but my thing was, if you may can outwork me, but I can outbump you.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Like, where does that come from? Is that just toughness? Is that just like great genetics? How do you be able to kind of survive some of that stuff?
Being blessed. I mean, that's the only thing I can say. Because you don't learn to do that in wrestling training. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Absolutely not. Yeah, that's something I don't think they ever learned to do. Hey, take this bump where you go through the ropes and miss everything. And you fall right on your back.
Okay, the funniest stories is I did it once with Bobby Eaton, the Midnight Express. And so we got in the back and I'm holding my back. He's like, man, what was that bump through the ropes? I said, you weren't supposed to move. He said, oh, I thought you said move. I said, please don't move. He goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I went, no, I'm just fucking with you. It's something I do. And then the same thing with Bruce Steiner.
Was that WCW, I guess, or like late NWA days?
No, just the Indies.
Oh,
The
Indies. Okay.
Indies. I only did one job for WCW. And the only reason I didn't like it is because they had the attitude that if we hurt you, fuck you, we'll find somebody to take your place tomorrow. And WWF, every time that I work somebody, to go, hey man, if we call something and you're not comfortable with it, let me know and we'll change it. So that was like, if I'm willing, like George South used to say, if I'm willing to give you my body, well, how are you going to go in there and abuse it if I'm in there trying to make you look better than what you are?
Right. Well said. So true. So George South and Stallion, they're the ones that got you the WWF like bookings when you would go in and do those shots.
Yeah, I was working for Stallion. He's asked me, go, hey, do you want to do WWE, or WWF? Yeah. And so he took us up there. I mean, he took 12 to 14 guys, and we loaded van in North Carolina and drove to New York. And him and George just knew that I was going to be the one to get the contract. The cool thing about it was each time we went, Stallion would ask me, he's like, Hamrick, who do you want to work? And I would pick like three guys, and out of each one, I got to work at least one of the three that I picked. So the very first time we went, we did 3 nights, and I wrestled Tatanka the first night, I wrestled Kid second night, and then we got there the third night, and he's like, Hamrick, who you working? I went, I don't know. I said, I don't care if I don't work. Ring's hard. And he said, well, I'm going to go find out. And he come back and he goes, well, you can give that up. Everybody in this building's wanting to work you. And I went, of course they are. So I got Bob Holly, Sparky Plug.
Yes. So how did you kind of go about that? Would Stallion? Because I know the old rumors. I actually interviewed the Italian Stallion, so I kind of get his side of the story. But basically, you pay for the van, or he pays for the van. He brings everybody up. Like, how does that work with him bringing everybody?
Okay, so here's what he did. I think he got the van from a church. So I don't really know if it cost him. And then, he got trans paid back. And him and George drove the whole way. And then, like, at the time, we were doing 3 night stints. And it was 150 a night. And so some of those guys, he was charging $100 a night for booking fees. And being young and all that, you think, well, no, I'm not doing it, because he actually called me one time. He's like, Hamrick, I'm going to take you up there, but I need a booking fee. I went, then I'm not going. He's like, well, why not? I said, because I'm not in that ring to make you money when you're making money by fucking going yourself. So he didn't take me. So he took a bunch of scrubs, dude. And they actually told him, they said, if you can't bring us no better than this, don't come back. So you bet your ass he run my phone the next time. He's like, no booking fee. I went, all right, then I'll go. But the more you think about it, and I know he didn't have to charge guys that much, but if you jumped in a car and went from North Carolina to New York and back, you're not going to make it less than $100 anyway. So,
Yeah.
and then you didn't have to drive at all. You know what I'm saying? So it really wasn't a bad deal, because, I mean, they did all the driving and everything. So you
Hotel
couldn't do
room
it for
too?
$100 on your own.
No, definitely not. Hotel room too?
We got our hotel paid for. The only thing we didn't get paid for is what we ate. And I mean, hell, it was one night I went in and worked, or my name was on the card, and they didn't use me, but I still got paid.
Nice. That's pretty damn good. It is funny that like the Hardy Boys decided I'll just we'll go up by ourselves instead of using the stallion because we don't want him taking his fee, which is kind of it gets iffy because they're doing it kind of behind his back. But I know that was like the big point of contention was like, oh, he's driving you there, he's paying to get you there, but he's charging you a fee, but he is getting you there and getting you the booking.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing: is when I guess they decided that, hey, every little town we go to, there's a fucking little small indie group, and we save on trends. We don't have to pay, you know what I'm saying, the hotel and all that bullshit. And they were only coming to Charlotte like once a year. So once they started that, I didn't even attempt to go back to WDF or try to go back or anything, because I was like, fuck, man, they only come to North Carolina once a year. So it was fun while it lasted.
And when
But
you
I
look
honestly
at
think maybe if I would have pursued it, I could have had like the what's his name? Fuck, the great jobber in WWE,
Barry Horowitz.
Barry Horowitz. I think I could have had that role. Because I mean, everybody loved working me, and it was just so easy because you just fly for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and everybody loved working Barry because he was so good, and you know what I mean. Like he would make him look even better.
And Owen told me that night that he called me over there. He goes, "Man, I would love to work you." He goes, "They got me working fat some bitches won't even jump for a suplex." And I went, "Well, keep dreaming, kid. Maybe it'll happen." So we went back 3 months later. Owen met me at the car. As soon as we got out of the van, he came up. He's like, "Hey, I'm working you night, right?" And I went, "Fuck, I don't know, Owen. I ain't even been inside." He goes, "Yeah." As soon as I got here, they said, "You're working that guy that goes through the ropes." He goes, "You're famous for it up here." The funny story is, I did the bump with the 1-2-3 kid, right? The second night, George Steele was an agent. And he come up and he goes, "I've got heat with you, kid." I went, "What, me?" Is Ricky Morton. He goes, "No." He goes, "I've come to these matches for 50 years and tried not to sell." He said, "You done brought me out of my seat twice with that fucking bump. Don't do that fucking bump anymore. My part can't take it." I went, "Hey, I'll never do it again." So when Owen, he said, "Hey, we're wrestling." I went, "All right." He goes, "You gonna do the bump?" I went, "You think I should?" He goes, "Fuck yeah." I went, "All right, yeah, we'll do it."
And what did George Steele say when he came back? Was he pissed?
I never did see him after that. So
Wow.
if he would have, I've been like, Owen demanded it. Owen demanded it.
Right, right. That is
Dude,
interesting.
Owen was so freaking cool. Oh my God. And Brett was such a fucking douche.
Really? Wow. Surprised.
So, Brett thought it was real.
And Owen's just having fun. He's just loving it.
Owen just he made everybody. Like, I remember him sitting there and he was supposed to do a run in or something. And the heels hit the ring and Owen's sitting there watching the monitor and they're like, Owen, go, go, go. He's like, "Hold on, I want to see what happens." I was like, "Oh my God."
And you worked right. I think you worked him, Jared, and then Savio or Quang, I guess. So it was like three in a row, and you're on TV 3 days in a row, basically.
Right. Well, at the time I was on TV with WWE getting my ass beat. I was on the Smoky Mountain getting my ass beat. Brian Lee told me, he said, "Man, I can't turn on TV without seeing you get your ass beat somewhere."
That is true. Yeah, is that good or bad that like you're on TV but you're losing? You know what I mean? Like it's good but bad, right?
But it is kind of bad because, like, okay, what guys don't even realize, if you're on TV and you're getting your ass beat, squashed, then if you go to an indie and they put you up because you're on TV, then you're making your guys look even shittier. You're getting beat by a guy that gets beat every fucking week on TV. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I mean,
Yeah.
they don't look at it like that. Oh, he's on TV. Yeah, but he's also getting his ass handed to him every day.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing because they see you a lot, right? Because you're on literally TV Saturday, Sunday, Monday. When Raw starts, and like you see you all the time, but then you're losing, so it's like a kind of little bit of like a bittersweet thing. Like, hey, he's on TV, but hey, he's losing a lot.
Well, what promoters don't understand is okay, say they bring a name into their promotion and he's working one of their top guys. 9 times out of 10, they're going to put the name over because it's the fucking name. I'm like, okay, so this guy's not going to be here fucking next month, but this guy is. Maybe this guy should win and build him up because the name don't give a fuck. He's getting paid.
Yep.
I was going to get a shirt one time that says losing pays the same as winning, and then the back of it was going to say just less effort.
That's
Because
actually
I
a
knew
good
what the
point.
fuck I was making when I left the house, you know. So if you tell me I'm losing, okay, I fucking care because who the fuck's going to remember it next week?
It's true. That's true. So did you think like I don't want to do any more WWF matches because I'm going to be jobbing 3 nights in a row? Like it was it that kind of thing, or why you didn't really
No,
want to go
because
back?
at that time and when it's new to you, you're like, fuck, I'm on TV. I mean, one of the coolest things was back in the day, you know, they taped hour of Raw and then it was live an hour, right?
Right.
So I worked. We'll go with Jeff Jarrett. I worked him on a tape section. So I was home the next week, and I got to sit home with my mom and dad and watch me on TV. Even though I got my ass beat, it was still pretty cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. It's like you're
And
getting a
then
lot of
when
notoriety.
people recognize you at the shows, they don't. You know, they don't. Oh, you got your ass beat. Is hey, I saw you on TV. So
Yep,
it plays both ways. You know what I'm saying?
definitely. Who's your favorite guy in WWF to wrestle? Like when you were there, because obviously Razor
Owen
Ramon,
Hart.
the Smoking Guns, there's a bunch of guys. Owen, so Owen by far.
Owen Hart. Owen Hart. Just to know that I got to wrestle him was just such an honor. And he requested me, so that made it even better.
Damn good worker too, right? I mean, he was a great technician. He
Oh
was great in
God,
the ring.
so easy, so easy. He came up to me, he goes, "Hey man, I've got good news and bad news." He goes, "Good news is I'm wrestling you. I'm going over. The bad news is you're losing. The good news is you get to keep the glasses." And I had those glasses forever, but I let fucking Kid Cash borrow them one time and ain't seen them since.
Oh, jeez, come on, Cash. Jeez. With like Owen and stuff, is that normal? Like that they literally will pick guys that they like really want to work with? Is that like
I don't
a
think
normal
so.
occurrence?
I don't know if he'd had ever done that or not, but he requested me, and you know that made me feel good because he knew that I could go on TV and make him look like $1 million. Not that he needed any help at all, but if you ever watch the bump with me and Owen, you can watch Owen turn around and watch it because he loved that fucking bump.
He's
So
probably
my
like,
big
I got to see
markout
this up
moment,
close.
right?
Yep.
I'm at WWE or WWF, and I'm walking down the hallway, and Shawn Michaels says, "Hey, somebody told me you learned that bump by accident." And I'm looking around, I'm like, I'm the only one here, so he's fucking talking to me. And I went, yeah. He goes, well, hell, that's the way I learned most of mine. And then I didn't hear half of what he said because I'm sitting there in my mind going, fucking talking to Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is talking to me about something that I do, you know, one of the two greatest bumpers in the world. And I swear to God, that night, Mr. Perfect talked to me about my bump again. I went, oh my, it just don't get no better than this. Two of the
Right.
best bumpers ever in the
Yeah.
business talking to me about something that I do. And I told Sean, I said, hey, you're welcome to do it. And he's like, no, nah, it's better when you do it. So we'll let you keep it. I went, all right, just saying.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, highest praise there from those two. Big time. Perfect in HBK.
Oh my God. I mean, two of the best bumpers in the business. Make a damn atomic drop look like it killed you. And I'll admit, Sean stole a bunch of hen and shit,
Of
but
course.
still, I mean,
Yep.
you know, Sean used to be God, man. He was just the best there was.
Did you ever work Michaels or Perfect or no?
No. Every time okay, so the very first time that I went to Raw was the night after WrestleMania 10, and he was all fucking banged up from the ladder match. And then I went another time, and he had broke his hand, thumb, or something, so he wasn't wrestling then. And then I forget what something else happened on the third time, and I'm like, fuck, I want to work him just one time to say I was in the ring with Shawn Michaels.
Never happened.
But yeah, just him talking to me about my bump, I was cool as shit with that too.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So when do you like finish up with WWF? Is that it? Like after '94? Do you ever go back again?
Um, I went back King of the Ring 90, whatever year Billy Gunn won, and
98 or
me and Marty
99?
Garner, Champagne,
Oh yeah, yeah. Just
were
talked to him not so long ago.
EMTs, and we were checking on Shamrock because he hurt his ribs or some shit. So it started on Sunday Night Heat, and then like they were going to continue on the pay per view, right? And so we practiced and all that. I said, Marty, I said, I double dare you when fucking Shamrock yells at you, go, well, fuck you, die, you son of a bitch, and just walk out. He wouldn't do it. Chicken shit.
What would happen there? That wouldn't have been good.
It would have been memorable.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Hey,
I would
Marty.
have got a big kick out of it. I'm just saying.
Hey, Marty's looking out for himself there. He doesn't want to, end up in the hospital that night.
Well, I mean, he never did fucking get signed on or fucking. He did the one job for Triple H and did that fucked up pedigree looking thing, and
Yep.
fuck, they just quit using him. He's the only one out like the Hardy clan that really didn't get picked up.
Yeah, that's true. If you look at that group of guys, I know some of them went to WCW, but yeah, he's kind of the forgotten guy out of that whole group.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only one really out of that crew that didn't get signed on, and he
Yep.
was good. I don't know what I just don't know what happened.
Just that one when they brought him back, I forget what year it was, 05 or 06, they randomly had him be a surprise guy for MVP. But obviously nobody really knew who he was at that point. I mean, we were like way after the fact that they brought him back.
And he did some shit for ECW, right? Wasn't he there with the Ducks?
Yes. Yep. He did some stuff. Yeah, not much, but yeah, you're right. Like out of that whole clan, like Shannon Moore and Helms, and yeah, everyone got signed somewhere, and made a big name for themselves somewhere. Not sure why
Yeah,
he
so they
did.
signed the Ducks and left Marty.
Yeah, yeah,
Man,
exactly.
Marty's get left a lot, don't they?
Yeah, you're like your buddy HBK left Marty Jannetty in the dust. Yeah,
Man, I love me some Marty Jannetty. I'm gonna tell you what really put me over with him and Ricky is that these sons of bitches have sold out every major arena in the world, and they'll talk to you like you're their best friend as long as you treat them with respect. I mean, I fucking love me some Marty Jannetty and Ricky Morton.
Marty. Feel like people don't realize how good of a worker he was. He was unbelievable in the ring. Love Marty.
It's kind of like Matt and Jeff Hardy. Matt is fucking good. Jeff is just the one that gets all the attention because he's the one that does the high dives and all the high flying bullshit.
Yep.
And Matt can do the same shit, but why would you have two guys doing the same shit on a team? So Matt was the wrestler and Jeff was a high flyer, and Jeff just got more attention than Matt did. Same thing with Marty and Sean.
100%. Yeah, definitely. And obviously, Ricky Morton is one of the best, if not the best babyface, greatest seller maybe of all time.
Yeah, Ricky Morton, I love that son of a bitch to death, man.
What's the relationship like with him, with you and Ricky? Or what was it like?
What's the relationship? What?
With you and Ricky?
He's mad at me now.
Oh, no.
I think he's mad at me. I was like, he don't text, call, or anything. Okay, so here's the story. Me, Jordan Oliver, and Billy Starks wrestled Ricky, Chick Carey, and Addison Ray for GCW. And dude, I'm telling you, Carey was just fucking, he was off. And so I was going to do the Hamrick bump. Now, this is in 2023. And I was already nervous about doing the Hamrick bump. I'm like, well, what's the one thing that got me a little bit of fame be the one thing that fucking take me out of business? But so Kerry I was going to hit him with the first one, and then he was going to move on the second one. And when I went to hit him on the first one, he dropped down like he was going to move. And I went, motherfucker. And I chopped the shit out of him. I ain't lying. He goes, well, that fucking hurt. I went, well, learn to fucking work. And then here's what, and I had all the respect in the world for Kerry. I really did. But when I tried to explain to him what he did was wrong, he tried to explain to me why he did what was right. And I'm like, dude, I'm done. I'm done talking to you. And there was, there was a couple of things that he fucked on. And I mean, it's just, I ain't never been one to hide my feelings. If I tell you that, if I think you suck, I'm gonna tell you suck. I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck whose kid you are. But for you to sit there and try to rebuttal me for telling you what you did wrong, and you've been in the business, what, a cup of coffee? I'm sorry. And if Ricky's mad over that, oh fucking well, I love him, but you know, and I could get it. I mean, that's your kid. You don't want anybody talking bad about your kid, but if nobody tells him that he's bad, then how the fuck's he ever gonna know?
Yeah, and in some etiquette, right? With a veteran of the business for 20 years, you telling you, well, 20 plus, so almost 30 years, right? At that point, right? When you get a
Well, it made
veteran
no
talking to you,
sense because he's like, well, I thought you were going to do it on the other side of the ring. I went, no, because your fucking dad's standing on the other side of the ring. So that'd be kind of stupid, wouldn't it?
yeah, yep, agreed. But you can't
So yeah, I
argue
think he's
with a
mad
veteran.
at me or whatever. I mean, I love him to death, but there was wrestling before Ricky Morton. So the very first night I met him, that I wrestled him, um, he's already dressed at the gimmick table, right? And I walked by his bag and there's a pair of red tights with white fringe. I went, oh, this should be good. So I put them on and I've got sweatpants on over them so that he can't tell that I'm wearing them. So we get in the ring, go lock up. He goes, I have a pair of tights just like you son of a bitch. You're more about tights. I went, yep.
That's awesome. Where was
And
that?
then the last 3 times that I've wrestled Ricky, he's hit me with a sunset flip. And on count of 2, I farted in his face.
Oh, geez.
And dude, the very first time I did it, I mean, that mullet ruffled. You know what I'm saying? And the
Yes.
referee just stopped counting. He goes, oh, man, he farted. And Ricky's like, count, you son of a bitch. So, like the second or third time, Ricky's like, Chris, you going to quit farting in my face? I'm like, well, you think it all fuck you want to, but you're wrong. I said, putting you over, I don't know what else the fuck you want, Ricky.
Yeah, what else do you want? Yeah, if you
Yeah,
got
really. I mean,
you got to pass gas, you got to pass gas. Yeah,
if you're going over, take a little stink bomb. It don't matter. Fuck.
Was that Indies or Wildside, or where'd you wrestle Ricky at?
Oh, man, on the indies everywhere. And the funny thing is like we would lock up and I'd grab him in the headlock. I'd squeeze the shit out of him. And you just hear him go, damn, lighten up, boy. So it got to the point to where when we go lock up, he knew exactly what was coming. He's like, damn. And we'd be laughing our ass off.
Yeah, I love that. He must be fun to work though, just as far as probably being a night off, right? He's easy.
I'm surprised that he ain't got an agent job somewhere because Ricky's a smart son of a bitch when it comes to wrestling. And I mean, he could, well, hell, there is no selling in wrestling anymore. So never mind.
Yeah, it kind of changed a bit where, yeah, the style, but I feel like the guys who are good at selling are like more like the top guys in maybe WWE, but elsewhere, not too much selling.
Yeah. There's no heels. There's no babies anymore. And that's a shame because I mean, if you go to wrestling, you want to cheer somebody and boo somebody. And you know who I blame for all this shit?
Who?
ECW. If you think about it, ECW really had no heels and no babies, or if they had heels, like if we would do something cool, the fans would pop, but then they would go back to booing us. But it was more of a respect thing instead of a fucking good versus bad. It's like, hey, if you can wrestle, then I'll watch you. If you can't, I'll boo you out of the fucking building and make sure they never bring you back. And they did away with you selling because you have to get ready for the next move to set it up. I mean, ECW did a lot of this shit that the Indies picked up on and just ran with it.
That is
Think
true.
about it. Who was the biggest heel in ECW?
Shane Douglas, I guess. Besides him, nobody
Him
really.
or Justin but I mean, really, they wasn't. If they did something cool or they did a cool move, then they still cheered them.
Yes.
I would just step up in the ring to shoot everybody a birdie.
Like Raven was.
I wrestled
Raven was a
Michael
heel,
Shane,
but
Matt Bentley.
Yep.
And I did a cool spot. I did like a leg drop, springboard leg drop or something. And the people popped, and I stood up on the ropes and I raised my hands, and they popped. And I went, "Oh fuck, I'm healed." So I shot them a birdie and went back down.
But they pop for the heel. They're not supposed to do that. Yeah, they were
But they popped
pumping.
for the moves. You know what I'm saying? Like if they
Yeah.
see something like who in ECW was doing springboards other than Super Crazy. So they're not getting to see it every match like what they're getting to see fucking arm drag. And I mean, I can get a pop off an arm drag because I jump when I go. It makes a difference.
Yep.
And that's what I tell these indie guys when I do seminars. I'm like, guys, if you want to stand out, be different. They're going to see 7 matches. They're going to see fucking hip tosses, arm drags, body slams, drop kicks all through the fucking night. Give them something that they're not going to see to where they go, oh, fuck, I haven't seen that yet. You know what I'm saying? And they just,
Yep.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I
I
think that wrestling should go back to baby seals and more selling because guys don't realize they think if they sell, it makes them look weak. It don't. It gets you sympathy from the crowd, especially if your baby face getting fucked over. And the more you sell, the more stronger you make them look. And if you're going over, then you went over somebody fucking strong as shit. You know what I'm saying?
yes. The psychology of it all. Yeah, for sure.
Just like you be wrestling, you go, okay, man, I'll come towards you, back up. Oh, I can't back up. That's gonna make me look weak. You're a fucking heel, you fucking mark. You're supposed to look weak. Oh my god, they just they don't get it nowadays.
And I feel like too
But
ECW.
we're bringing that back in HWA. When the people buy tickets, I preach to them, they want to see good versus bad. Let's give them something because, I mean, these people have been cramped up in their house all week, having to work all week, having to put up with their boss's bullshit all week. They want to get out and let some aggression out. And if they try to argue with you, if you're a heel and you don't argue back with them, they're eventually going to quit fucking trying.
Big time. And I feel like some of the old school stuff can be new again because we haven't seen that in a while either. So what's old is new again.
I still think good versus bad would work. And I still think psychology would work. And I think that selling would definitely work. Because if I give you a suplex and you're back on your feet before I can set up, what the fuck did I even give you a suplex for? It meant nothing.
Right. Yep.
And then if I go in and I hit you with a hip toss, leg drop, arm drag, body slam, drop kick, what are they going to pop for? The last fucking thing you did. So you wasted 5 movements there. That's what people mean by less is more. If you know how to fucking work, you ain't got to do shit. And then you
True.
got guys out there flying from bell to bell. They go out and try to kill themselves or take a risk of getting hurt, and they get mediocre props because people didn't get fucking what they done. I mean, I
So
love
true.
AEW. Don't get me wrong. Fucking love the Young Bucks. But, and the bad thing about it is the people watching that wrestling are going to grow up thinking that's what wrestling is. So if you went in and tried to do an old school match, they would probably boo you out of the fucking building. The last good old school match that I saw was Cody versus Dustin. And the storytelling in that was fucking phenomenal.
Awesome. Yep. Love that style. Yep.
And if you didn't cry at the end of that match, you have no heart.
Love that match. That was great. It just like the perfect kind of just old school mentality, psychology to it. Yeah, that's the type of wrestling I like. Anyways, I feel like I don't know the no selling and the fast matches and the quick pace sometimes just not for me.
It's just they don't get it. They're brought up to think, oh, if I sell it, makes me look weak. No, asshole, it don't. You can't cheer for somebody that don't get in trouble. That's the
Yeah.
same thing I said about Nick Gage. I like Nick Gage, don't get me wrong, but he's got a chance to go in there. Like he wrestled Jordan Oliver one night, and Jordan Oliver, I think, is fucking awesome.
Yep.
And he could have made Jordan Oliver look like $1 million. He could went in there and gave Jordan 90% of that fucking match. And as long as he still won at the end, the people would have popped and they would have built Jordan as a star. But he went in there and ate him up. And I'm like, how can you fucking feel sorry for somebody that never gets in trouble?
No sympathy. You're not building any sympathy for the baby.
I'm sorry?
You're not building any sympathy for the baby face.
No, none at all. Well, even as a heel, he could have went in. Jordan could have been a heel and went in and dominated 90% of that match. And then Nick hit his fucking finish at the end. That's all the fuck they're waiting for anyway. But it showed that Jordan was fucking, on it. He was a challenge to Nick. And Nick don't understand the bigger that he makes Jordan look, the better he looks by beating him.
So
if you
true.
go in,
Yeah,
okay,
you're right.
so like job matches wouldn't work today because if you go in and you beat somebody up and blah blah, never give them a chance. Who the fuck did you beat? You beat nobody. It's the same thing with promos. Guys don't get promos today. They don't want to build up your opponent because they want to say, so, okay, Ricky Morton, how many times, or Tracy Smothers, how many times have I heard somebody say, okay, old man, blah, blah, blah. Instead of old man, why don't you say, hey, Ricky Morton, he's an 8-time NWA tag team champion. He's wrestled all over the world, one of the greatest tag teams, half of the greatest tag teams in the history of wrestling. And if I beat him, then what does that make me? If I call him an old man at the beginning of the thing, okay. If I beat him, I beat an old man. If I lose, I lost to an old man. And people just don't get that nowadays. You have to build your guy up to make him look more credible if you're going over. And then if he beats you, then you got beat by somebody credible.
Such a good point because otherwise it's who did you beat or who beat you? Yeah, that is so true. You got to kind of make everybody look good. Whoever's, and then if you're going over, you look even better.
I'm going to tell you what's wrong with today's wrestling. Everybody wants to make them look good instead of the show. They want to make them look good. Like when they call spots, it's spots that make them look good. There is no more, hey, what if you hit me with this and I sold it like this? And then, like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody does that anymore. Everybody wants to make them look good. And everybody can't fucking look good in wrestling. It's not wrestling. Then it's a fucking athletic contest and it's still not real. The funny thing is, and I think Cornette said this, back in the day when we were coming up, wrestling was fake and nobody knew it and nobody got hurt. Now everybody knows it's work and fucking everybody gets hurt.
Yep. So true. Yep.
Because you're doing shit that's unfucking believable. I mean, it looks good, but what's the chance that would ever that you would be in a position to where you could hit a fucking 450 or a shooting star press? You know what I'm saying? They take the realism out of it.
Now you mentioned ECW, and obviously, everybody kind of has their own feeling on it. But what was your time like in ECW? Did you enjoy your time there? Because it seems like that it would be right up your alley. But now that I'm talking to you about like psychology, it might not be right up your alley as far as ECW is concerned.
As far as ECW,
yeah.
Oh, dude, I was just honored to be there. To me, ECW, the locker room was more family oriented than any place I've ever been. I mean, they really were. It wasn't anybody trying to get your fucking spot. Everybody wanted you there. Everybody that was there but fucking belonged there. An example, Kid Cash was going to win the TV title from Rhino. And that night, Paul made a speech. He goes, and Kid Cash will be your new television champion. Everybody stood up and applauded. You know what I'm saying? Instead of somebody sitting there going, well, fuck, I've been here longer than he has. That should be my spot. It wasn't like that. Matter of fact, Easy Money, when we first started, Easy's kind of shy guy. And he didn't know the guys kind of like, I had met some through WWF and some through Smoky Mountain. And so, I hug and shake everybody's hand. Well, Jason wouldn't do it. And so Chili Willie, about the third week there, Chili Willie called me and goes, hey, man, your boy's got heat. And I went, fuck, what do you do now? He's like, well, he don't shake hands or hug when he comes and leaves. He said that we do that here because we're a family. I said, all right, I'll smarten him up. And then I smartened him up. And then they started hating him for other reasons. The prime example, Jason called the matches for Jason. Jason will make sure that Jason looked good. I remember Tommy Dreamer telling us one time, he goes, we're marks for wrestling. You're a mark for easy money. And it's true. Everybody hated fucking working him. He wanted to call every match like a pay-per-view. And look, okay, so he was the first one to ever do like the upside down pile driver and drop to your knees. And every time he did it, he got a holy shit chant. And Tommy told me, he goes, Jason, he goes, don't do that move because when we do decide to give you a push, that's going to be your finish. And people are wondering, well, why is it beating them now when it didn't meet them before? And you couldn't tell him. He'd still fucking do it every show because he got the holy shit chant.
So did you like teaming with him and working with him as far as Hot Commodity is concerned?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a problem with him because I'm teaming with him. You know what I'm saying? But everybody hated working him because first, every spot he called was to make him look good. And then he wanted to do every fucking spot and act like every show was a pay-per-view. You know, we were told to do house shows, you know, still be you, do you, save your special shit for the pay-per-views. And he wanted to do every fucking thing on every fucking show. And people hated working him because that means they had to fucking work harder for him.
Yeah, that's just I don't know, a little bit different, like you said, for the atmosphere, but different as far as what you guys are trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I mean, you go in and you want to make the match look good, not just you.
Right.
That's selfish and it's stupid. You know, you're not going to be the star of a fucking tag team match. So let's all four work together and realize what we can do together to make this match memorable. And just because you're in the main event don't mean you can't have the best match of the night. Best example of this is me and Tracy Smothers were making our debut for IWC in Pittsburgh. And we're working John Chesney and Jimmy Jacobs. And so the main event, okay, so we did our match and my finish was the pile driver off the second rope and fucking place went crazy, right? And this is back when websites, you know, were popular and all that bullshit. And everybody was writing about me and Tracy. Everybody's writing about me and Tracy. You know what the main event was that night that nobody fucking talked about?
No idea.
AJ Styles versus CM Punk.
Whoa.
Dude,
Wow.
we stole the fucking show.
Old school
So that
guy.
just goes to show
Yeah.
you, just because you're the main event, don't mean that you have to have the best match. Okay, wrestling, when I was coming up, you were taught if you were in the first match, you kept it simple, you kept it basic, everything built up to the main event.
Right.
Okay, but when it got to where the main event was just there because of name value, then I remember me and Kick Ash went and did a show one night. We were working first match because we had a double shot. And we were in the I Quit match, and I put Cash to a table. First match now, and New Jack's there, and he's like, man, these pussy motherfuckers crying about, oh, well, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? He's like, Chris, I don't care if you fucking first match or second match. If fucking main event can't follow you, fuck the main event. I was like, he goes, man, it's selfish. He goes, okay. So I tell people, I'm like, if you put your boots on and you go to a show and you go out there and work and you don't try to steal the fucking show, you're robbing everybody. You're robbing yourself to show how good you are. You're robbing the promoter because you're only doing fucking 20%, and then you're robbing the fans. So why should I go out and do 20% of the fucking shit I could do because Bruce Beefcake versus fucking Virgil's your main event? Nothing they could do would fucking get a fucking holy shit chant anyway. So why would I not go out and try to make the motherfuckers remember me to begin with? It's a selfish business, but your total goal should be to steal the fucking show for every show that you go on.
Yeah, you're right. It did used to be like that, where we're like, hey, don't do this in this match, and don't do this, and you build to the main event, and you know, and build a card that way. Yeah, it definitely has changed big time.
Yeah, now it's like if you can't follow me, maybe you should be the fucking main event. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yep.
Why should I go out and fuck the fans and the promoter and myself as a worker to try to make the main event look good if it's just two names that are there just for name value?
True.
And naturally, they're going to be the ones to draw the crowd, but it's up to you to steal the fucking crowd from them. Go out and do your shit.
With ECW, were you there at the end? Because I know obviously you started in like 2000, and obviously they ended in 2001 in January. Were you there at the last few shows? Were you a part of that or no?
ECW?
Yeah.
Okay, so they did Pine Bluff, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and somewhere else. And all the boys done side, nobody was getting paid, and I didn't give a fuck. I mean, I was making so less that I didn't give a fuck if I got paid or not. I would have done it for free because the fucking exposure that I was getting.
Right.
And so everybody decided, well, we're not getting paid, and that's a long fucking ride, so we're not going. So I didn't go to the last two shows, but just to show you how stupid Easy Money was, this was his thing. Oh, well, if the big names aren't going to be there, then we'll be the big stars. Okay, big star, you drive that fucking far and you don't get paid and you go do it. I'm not, because I had an indie booking, and in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'll do ECW next month. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know. I don't know. I mean, it was fun, but I wasn't making no money, and I know I'm gonna be a heel for saying this, but fucking SPW, I had 10 times more fun and I got 10 times more pay.
Right. It's all about the money, right? I mean, it's about getting
But
paid
as
more.
far as family atmosphere and wrestling and all that, I love ECW with a passion, because okay, so when I first started, Paul was making very few shows because he was in LA getting us a picture deal, right? A TV deal, or
Yep.
filming a movie, whichever one you want to call. And so our deal was with Tommy Dreamer. And Paul fucking intimidated shit on me because I knew with a snap of his fingers I could be gone. So, and I was telling you about New Jack helping me in ECW. Kid Cash got me an Easy Money to try out. So we went and did the tryout. And the way ECW worked was, you went in, you worked out, you stayed dressed. If somebody picked to work you, then you got to work. If not, then you just fucking made a trip and came for nothing because you didn't get payday. So the very first night, I worked easy, and dude, there was like 10 guys trying out, and we were the last two. And the first match was the drizzling shits. And you've got all the boys around that ECW guys watching, and you've got Sandman on the apron, and these two guys started, and Sandman's like, yo, what the fuck is that? Get the fuck out of the ring. He goes, matter of fact, get the fuck out of the building. And I'm like, oh, wow, no pressure there. So me and Jason did our match, and after the match, Kid Cash comes up and he goes, hey, y'all going to do your match again? And I was like, okay, but why? He said, well, Tommy Dreamer was late getting here, and he's agreed to watch you two guys. So we did our match again. We got dressed, and I was waiting to hang out with New Jack because I hadn't seen him fucking forever. So I went up to Jack and I went, hey, Jack, you remember me? He goes, man, give me a hint. He took a lot of bumps. I went, first Smoky Mountain match. He goes, Chris fucking Hamrick. I go, yeah. So anyway, we're standing there on the stage, and Tommy Dreamer comes out and he goes, okay, first match, Chili Willie and Cash against Cash's two boys. And it went right over my head, dude. And then I happened to think, I went, wait, Cash, who are your two boys, right? And he goes, yeah, fucking working tonight. He goes, yeah. And I went, holy fuck. So, and here's what I love about Cash, and Cash has always been my boy. I love that guy to death, and we've been tight since we first met. And so I asked Cash, I said, hey, during the heat, do you care if Jason sits on top rope and I get off his shoulders and do a leg drop? And he's like, Chris, he said, me and Chili have contracts here. He said, y'all go out and get your shit over and get y'all contracts. I went, holy fuck. Because, dude, he could have went in and jobbed us out and nobody would have ever fucking known or cared. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And he didn't. He's like, no, y'all go out and do your shit and get over. So then, like, the third weekend, they kind of test you. They don't shoot on you, but they kind of like, they lay it in a little bit. They kind of put you in stretch holes to make sure you'll kick out, because they want to make sure that you want to fucking be there. Well, they start that with Jason, and like 5 minutes in, he's like, oh, I got a good drink of water. So they're like, all right, Hammer, come on. And I'm like, I ain't playing with y'all. Fuck y'all. So I get in, I'm kicking out of everything, and all of a sudden I hear, uh-oh. And I went, oh, what? And New Jack's taking his earrings out. And I went, oh, shit. And see, they didn't know the relationship between me and Jack. So they think, well, Jack's going to kill another one. So he get in, he shot me off. He gave me a backdrop, heel toss, arm drag, and a drop kick. Dude, you could hear jaws hit the floor. And so after he did it, he's like, do you know why I did that? I went, to be a show off. He goes, no. He goes, because I haven't been in the ring since I've been here in a workout. He said, trust me. He said, that's going to open people's eyes, and that's going to take you up another level just because I did it. So sure enough, when Dreamer was giving him a match, he goes, Jack, since you like this guy so much, do you want to run in and kill him after the match? He's like, yeah. And so that whole thing started with me and you, Jack, over that.
And I remember I was at a Fusion Wrestling show at the Rexplex in 2004. You and New Jack had a match. I just thought that was like, wow, this is funny. Like these guys are wrestling all these years later here in New Jersey. Yeah, Ultimo Dragon was in that main event.
Well, the thing about it is Jack built that reputation of being hardcore, hardcore shit. So if he would have went there and tried to wrestle, they would have booed him out of the fucking building. Because he had done build up that reputation. I remember telling this fucker one time, I said, New Jack, I got an idea that's gonna make us money. He goes, all right, what you got? I said, you know how you're New Jack, the hardcore gangster, right? He goes, yeah. I get a camouflage dress. I'm New Jill, the hardcore transvestite. What do you think? He goes, Chris, if you ever say that to me again, I'll fucking cut you. And I went, all right, we'll think about it. Let me know.
That's great.
Dude, like I just found a picture today where he was actually, I had the shirt with the Confederate flag with my name across the stars, and he had it on wearing it, and I took a picture of it.
That's awesome.
And then right before, probably, I don't know, 6 months before he died, he called me. He's like, Chris, what's your address? I ain't giving you my address. He said, Chris, what's your fucking address? I ain't giving you my address, Jack. They ain't no telling what the fuck you'll send me. He goes, Chris, give me your address. I went, all right. So I gave it to him, and he sent me a fucking shirt with a rebel flag on it. I still got it.
Love that. Nice. Look at him.
I'm the only guy in America that could call New Jack and go, hey, Sissy Britches, what's up? He loved me. I mean,
yeah.
And, people's like, oh, well, he don't respect people. He don't respect the business. Dude, the only reason that me and him had such a tight relationship, because I made him look like $1 million on TV, first Smoky Mountain TV taping. He never forgot it. With XPW, he told me, he's like, man, if you can find a way out to California, I'll get you a tryout. I'm like, all right. And at the time we had a money mark, and I told her, I'm like, hey, I need a trip to California. She said, okay. So I went out there, and I don't think they knew I was coming, but like I'm sitting in the locker room and Jack like, Chris, what are you doing? I went, I don't know. I ain't heard from nobody. So he goes up to Rob Black and he's like, what the fuck's my boy doing tonight? He's here. What's he doing? And they put me in like a battle royal fucking something. And so the cool thing about it is everybody in the match knew that I was ECW, and they're calling my spots for me. They're like, hey, he'll be laying on the mat. I'll sit on rope. You do with the leg drop off my shoulders. And blah. I'm like, fuck. So then, like, I'm talking to them, and it's like, all right, well, we'll send you a plane ticket and have you back here next month. And then, fuck, I was there every show until it closed down.
Man, just crazy to think, like, what could have been. You know what I mean? I mean, it just right, even WCW right then and there is pretty much gone a few months later. So just crazy what happened to the wrestling business in 01. Just nuts.
Well, see, people hate me because I make New Jack out to be a babyface, because everything that he done, they deserved. I mean, and I hate he did that to that Mass Transit, but the little motherfucker lied and said that he was older. And he goes up to New Jack and he's like, hey, my dad's out there. Can we make me look good? Jack's like, yeah, I will make you look good. So he deserved it. You know what I'm saying? He's a lying fucking fat fuck that got what he deserved. Gypsy Joe, I know you've seen that video.
Yes.
If you watch it, Jack is trying to work with Joe at the first, and Joe hits him across the fucking ear and ain't selling for Jack. Jack beats the fuck out of him, because in Gypsy's Joe mind, he invented fucking hardcore, so he wasn't going to sell for New Jack. New Jack did what he had to do to take care of business. The guy was stabbing him. He stabbed a guy 14 times. Okay, so he don't know this guy, and Jack's got a reputation of being a tough ass guy. You know what I'm saying? So if you go in there and you beat his ass, then you go to the top of the fucking chain in one night. So if you're wrestling some big guy that you don't know who the fuck he is, and he's got you backed against the ropes and you're talking to him and he's not fucking listening, you're going to do what you have to do to get the fuck out of the situation.
No doubt. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I wrestled him, man. I probably wrestled New Jack 50 times, and he never stiffed me once, other than we did ECW one night. I wrestled Kid Cash, and it was the building where New Jack and Grimes did the fall on the scaffold.
Yes.
And so Jack comes in, he's like, Chris, I got to jump on. Fucking jump. I didn't know what he's talking about. And so, like, after the match, they carried me over the table and I watched New Jack climb up to the top of the thing. I'm like, oh, that's what he meant. And so I'm like, well, if I'm going to end my career, it might as well be with a New Jack dive. And dude, he hit me and I didn't feel anything. And I rolled over on my side and he goes, you okay? And I went, yeah. Well, he got up and he thought I was going to go on my back and he dropped an elbow and it went right in my ribs. And I'm like, oh my God. But that's the only time they did ever hurt me and it was not intentional.
Was he your favorite guy to work, New Jack?
Dude, everybody in ECW. There was not one guy in ECW that I worked at that I didn't just enjoy the fuck out of. I love Nova. Nova was such an easy work. So okay, so I wrestled Jerry Lynn one night, one weekend. I wrestled Steve Carino the next weekend. Well, the third weekend, they both come up asking Tommy Dreamer could they work me, and Dreamer's like, nope, I've got him tonight. And it was me, Easy, and Julio against Joey Christian and Tommy Dreamer. And fucking Dreamer loved it, dude. I mean, it's just so fucking easy, man, because I don't know. It's just, fuck. You make them look better than what they have to be. And it's so easy if you just fucking leave your feet and not be scared to fucking jump and make them look stronger than what they are.
Absolutely.
Dude, I remember working Dirty White Boy for Smoky Mountain. Now he comes up to me and he goes, hey man, can you go up for a choke slam? I went, I'll try. We got in the back and he goes, you almost jumped down my hands. I went, yeah, I'm known for that, dumbass. Can I go up for a choke slam? I don't know. Can I take a fucking suplex?
Crazy. As we head towards the wind down here, we head towards the finish. For you, what's next? Like, what do you got coming up? I mean, like you mentioned with your promotion there in North Carolina, but what else is going on? Anything else? Will you be wrestling?
That's pretty much. Okay, so let me tell you about my wrestling career. I was booked every fucking weekend. I was enjoying it. When my daughter got about, she's 18 now. She realized that I wasn't home on weekends, and that was pretty much the only time we got to spend together. And I quit. I didn't want to be the dad to miss the birthdays, the first, words and all that bullshit. I quit. I didn't think twice about it. I was like, okay, if I have the choice of sitting on the couch and playing video games with my daughter or playing with her or go take a long fucking trip, sit in a nasty ass locker room with sweaty ass guys and get in the ring and wrestle, no contest. My little girl won. And then finally, when she got old enough and the HWA thing come around, she's like, Daddy, won't you go back to wrestling? I said, really? She goes, yeah, because you didn't get to go out on your terms. I went, all right. So the very first night that I went and wrestled, because my little girl, she had seen me as a heel, and as a heel, I'm a comedic fucking chicken shit as well as I should be. So like I was actually a baby face that night, and I hit a top rope standing hurricanrana, a bat flip on the ropes, and the suplex stunner. And she had never seen me work. So to be able to see that then, I did that just for her. And dude, I mean, she was so proud of me. And then like I talked to him and it's like, well, will you better book her? And then I'm like, yeah. And then okay, so I don't know how much time we got, but we did marry in North Carolina. And he goes, you sure don't want to work? I said, the only way I'm not working if this one guy don't show up and I team up with this guy. Well, that guy didn't show up, and I teamed up with that guy, and they were slated to win the fucking tag team belt. So we won the tag team belts. So then I had to fucking wrestle again. I'm like, fuck. So we lost them not long ago. And I told him, I'm like, look, I don't want to do this every fucking weekend or every other weekend. I want to do this every 6 months to where when you see me, it's still something that you're not going to see every fucking weekend.
Love that. And obviously, it's great that she gets to, get to see your work, get to see the real Chris Hamrick get out there. That's awesome.
Dude, I mean, like I said, HWA, I think they got great talent. And don't get me wrong, we've got some that still do, little selling and all that. But when you talk to them, they kind of listen, and you get them to watch the other matches of the established guys that can work, and then you see the difference. Like there's a little guy named Luke Fury. He's 16, I think 17, and his dad was a wrestler. And Luke is very good, And at first, he was watching AEW, GCW, and all this, and he was doing high spot, high spot, high spot. And then we brought him to HWA, and he actually worked a match with 3 guys that knew what the fuck they were doing. He's like, man, I like that. I want to do more of that. I went, yeah, it's called working, kid. Don't go out there and fucking kill yourself. And so he's actually learning to work instead of fucking high spot, high spot.
That's great, though. That's awesome. Where can everybody find the HWA? Where can everybody find you, social media and otherwise?
Fuck. Facebook, Chris Hamrick. Instagram, Chris Hamrick. YouTube, Chris Hamrick. Twitter, Chris. No, I don't do fuck Twitter. You heard about that, right?